The plagues of Egypt are a central narrative in the biblical book of Exodus, detailing a series of 10 catastrophic events inflicted upon Egypt by God through Moses to compel Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. This historical and theological concept encompasses both a literal chronological event in the Hebrews' religious history and a profound metaphorical dialogue on divine authority, justice, and human agency. The plagues serve as a divine spectacle, revealing God's supreme power over nature and the Egyptian deities, symbolizing a cosmic clash between the God of Israel and the pantheon of Egypt. This point is significant to the main topic as it sets the stage for understanding the plagues as not mere historical occurrences, but as episodes laden with theological import and dramatic tension. The narrative serves to illustrate the power struggle between divine will and earthly autocracy, with Pharaoh's hard-heartedness contrasting sharply against the omnipotence of God. This tension highlights the broader theme of freedom versus oppression, a leitmotif that resonates throughout history and various struggles for justice and liberation. Real-world applications of this concept are apparent in modern interpretations of the Exodus story, seen in liberation theology, which draws parallels between the biblical narrative and contemporary struggles against oppression. For example, during the civil rights movement in the United States, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. invoked the story of the Exodus as a symbol of hope and divine justice. Another example is Nelson Mandela's reference to Exodus as a source of inspiration in the fight against apartheid in South Africa, highlighting the universal appeal of this narrative as a tool for liberation. Opinions supporting the importance of understanding this historical theological context emphasize its role in shaping Judeo-Christian values and ethics, influencing societal norms on justice, freedom, and moral responsibility. However, challenges to this concept arise from historical and scientific perspectives, questioning the plausibility of the plagues occurring as described in Exodus. Some scholars propose natural explanations or allegorical interpretations, sparking debate over the literal versus symbolic understanding of the text. This foundational understanding of the plagues influences other aspects of the main topic by framing the subsequent events in Exodus, such as the parting of the Red Sea and the giving of the Ten Commandments, as continuous manifestations of divine authority. It enriches the narrative with layers of meaning, connecting the historical, cultural, and theological threads that weave through the story, shaping its enduring legacy in religious and secular thought alike. The plagues of Egypt serve as a seminal narrative in the religious and historical discourse, encapsulating a profound power struggle between the divine authority of Yahweh, the God of Israel, and the earthly power of Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. At its core, this concept is not merely about miraculous events, but rather a compelling demonstration of divine will challenging and ultimately dismantling human arrogance and defiance. Significantly, these events underscore the theme of liberation, illustrating how supernatural interventions paved the way for the Israelites' emancipation from centuries of bondage. Each plague systematically targeted and dismantled the pillars of Egyptian society and economy, illustrating the omnipotence of Yahweh and conveying a powerful message of hope and deliverance to the oppressed. Real-world applications of this narrative are evident in liberation theology, which draws upon the story of the Exodus as a paradigm for social justice and the fight against oppression. Additionally, in literature and popular culture, the plagues have been referenced as metaphors when depicting upheavals or significant societal shifts, often symbolizing the triumph of righteousness over tyranny. Supporters of this narrative, particularly within Judeo-Christian traditions, interpret the plagues as evidence of divine intervention in human affairs, asserting that moral authority ultimately prevails over temporal power. They view this account as a testament to faith, resilience, and the pursuit of justice, inspiring countless movements that seek to rectify social inequities. However, potential challenges to this interpretation arise from historical and scientific scrutiny. Skeptics argue about the literal truth of these events, suggesting they may be allegorical or exaggerated accounts influenced by religious and cultural contexts. Furthermore, some scholars debate the ethical implications of the plagues, questioning the morality of widespread suffering and destruction, even if divinely mandated. This point of divine versus human authority interconnects with broader themes in the narrative, such as the enduring covenant between God and the Israelites and the subsequent establishment of a moral and legal framework that guides them. The plagues, as agents of divine will, are instrumental in not only breaking the chains of physical enslavement, but also in setting the stage for the Israelites' transformation into a free and covenant-bound people. Thus, the story of the plagues of Egypt continues to be a focal point of theological reflection and cultural dialogue, illustrating the eternal struggle between divinely ordained justice and human authority, and influencing diverse facets of religious belief, ethical debates, and social activism. The sequence of the 10 plagues. A detailed examination refers to the chronological unfolding of the 10 catastrophic events described in the biblical narrative of Exodus, which were divinely inflicted upon Egypt to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from bondage. This sequence is significant within the context of the plagues of Egypt, a power struggle of divine proportions, because it underscores the escalating intensity and divine authority over nature and human affairs in this epic confrontation between the God of Israel and the Egyptian pantheon, led by Pharaoh himself. Understanding the sequence and progression of these plagues is crucial, as it highlights not only the tactical divine strategy employed by God, but also the resilience and hardening of Pharaoh's heart despite the increasing calamity. For example, the turning of the Nile into blood, the first plague, establishes the initial salvo in the divine assault, striking at the heart of Egypt's lifeline and economy. In contrast, the final plague, the death of the firstborn, represents the ultimate devastating blow that finally compels Pharaoh to relent. This progression from natural disruptions to personal and national tragedy illustrates both the capacity for divine mercy and judgment. Two illustrative real-world applications of this concept include using the narrative to explore themes of justice and liberation in oppressive regimes. Firstly, the plagues can be seen as a metaphor for the inexorable pressure and eventual collapse of authoritarian structures that fail to heed moral imperatives. Secondly, the story is often referenced in discussions of environmental justice, where the cascading ecological disasters in the plagues can symbolize the consequences of ignoring environmental stewardship. Opinions supporting the purposeful sequence of these plagues suggest that they are not only acts of judgment, but also educational demonstrations, designed to reveal divine supremacy and provoke a moral awakening in both Egyptians and Israelites. However, challenges and controversies arise from historical and scientific examinations of the plagues. Some question the historicity of these events, proposing natural explanations or allegorical interpretations, which can lead to alternative viewpoints regarding their purpose and impact. The sequence of the 10 plagues is intricately connected to the larger narrative of divine intervention and liberation. It not only demonstrates God's power, but also sets the stage for the Israelites' exodus and future covenantal relationship. This unfolding drama influences other aspects of the topic by providing a foundational understanding of how divine power was perceived and exerted, reinforcing the themes of justice, freedom, and the sovereignty of the divine over earthly realms. The plagues of Egypt, as described in the biblical narrative, symbolize a profound power struggle between divine authority and earthly rule. This concept encapsulates the conflict where God's will, represented by Moses and Aaron, clashes with the earthly power of Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. The plagues serve not only as divine retribution, but also as a vehicle for showcasing the supremacy of the divine over human arrogance and stubbornness. This theme is integral to understanding the larger narrative of the Exodus story, where the liberation of the Israelites is not only a physical emancipation, but a cosmic demonstration of divine dominance. The significance of this power struggle is multifaceted. It illustrates the theme of liberation, highlighting the lengths to which divine power will go to free those oppressed by earthly regimes. Furthermore, it presents a moral lesson on the dangers of hubris and the importance of recognizing and respecting a power greater than human authority. This narrative resonates in various real-world contexts, such as the struggles for civil rights, where similarly, seemingly insurmountable human structures of power are challenged and oftentimes overthrown by persistent belief in a higher moral order. One potent example of this is the American Civil Rights Movement, where leaders, often motivated by religious conviction, confronted entrenched systems of racial injustice, echoing the biblical call for justice and equality. Another example is the fight against apartheid in South Africa, where divine justice was a recurrent theme in the rhetoric of leaders like Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. The enduring appeal of this narrative is supported by opinions that suggest it imparts hope and courage to those fighting against oppression, showing that change is possible when one aligns with a higher moral purpose. However, challenges and controversies arise from differing interpretations of divine will and authority. Some critics argue that this narrative can be used to justify detrimental actions, asserting divine endorsement for oppressive deeds. The power struggle depicted in the plagues narrative also connects deeply with other aspects of the Exodus story, influencing themes of faith, resilience, and moral righteousness. It informs the Israelites' journey, shaping their identity as a people chosen and guided by divine power. Additionally, it sets a precedent for understanding subsequent biblical narratives where divine intervention disrupts human activities, promoting justice and moral order. This dynamic interplay between divine and human forces continues to offer valuable insights for interpreting historical and contemporary struggles for justice and freedom.